This podcast could potentially have adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly the possibility of sexual content. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I am your host, Erica Lance. My amazing co-host today is Bo Lake, and our guest today is Debbie Weiss. Woo! Welcome!
Woo! Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about what we're drinking. I put a lot of this in here. This is pretty big, heavy. I mixed chai tea latte mix from Starbucks. Well, it's whatever. It's from Tazo, but Starbucks. And Bailey's espresso, Irish cream, but it's espresso flavored, and then cold brew, and then milk. And I think I put a lot of Bailey's mainly in this, so it's pretty yummy. It's one of my new favorites. Bo, what about you? What are you drinking?
I am finishing a Blue Moon that is very delicious.
And matches your hair, which makes it
always
amazing.
does.
Debbie,
I can only drink things that match my hair.
Okay, well, your Coke Zero the other day made that all lies and slander. Just throwing that out there. Debbie, what about you? What are you drinking?
I am drinking a glass of lovely Paul Remy sparkling wine from Trader Joe's at $3 a bottle. It's delicious and wonderfully value priced.
Okay. No, I'm just kidding. It's true. I absolutely love the Trader Joe's wine. So I think it's brilliant. Okay. So here we go. Ready? Rapid fire questions, my friend.
Okay.
What is your favorite book of all time?
Consider The Oyster by M.F.K. Fisher.
Why is that?
I really love M.F.K. Fisher's writing. I think she's just so comforting, and my dad introduced me to her as a writer. And I love the way she weaves in, like she's talking about food and how that affected her, but she's really talking about her life and her passions and her emotions. And I love how food is the basis for that. And I also just think it's fun to read about food.
I don't disagree. It's very fun to read and eat food. Big fan of Great British Baking Show. What about your least favorite book of all time?
Might have been War and Peace. I finished it. Thousands of pages, but I understand why it's a masterpiece, but it was really too much about Napoleon, if I recall. It was a slog.
Well, it's very funny because there's an audiobook of War and Peace that's kind of ridiculous, and the narrator is terrible, I'm sorry to say. And I remember like starting to read it and I was like, what the hell is going on? I mean, listen to it and I'm like, this is so weird, because War and Peace is thick as it is, but it was even worse with this audiobook.
How many hours was that?
I only got a little ways into it. I'll tell you, and it's interesting. A narrator makes I don't care how great the writing is of the book. If I can't stand the narrator, I can't listen to the book.
Right.
You know, and I always recommend, even if you want to do audiobooks and you want to listen to it and you're like, oh, I'm so excited about this, do a sample of the narrator to decide whether or not you can listen to that person for 8, 10, 12, 15, 25 hours. In the case of War and Peace, like 487 hours, you know. Yeah, it's long. Okay. What about your favorite book that was made into a movie or TV show where you felt like they did a really good job?
Oh, I'm highfalutin here. I'm going to say Firefly Lane. I really love the Firefly Lane TV series. It seems to come out in the winter. I think the first one came out when I'm a big hiker. I had plantar fasciitis. So I was like home taking gummies and zoning, and Firefly Lane came out. And then, you know, I read the book and it was good. It was good. I mean, it's Kristen Hanna. It's amazing. But for some reason, I found the TV series almost more engaging. I just like the people in it so much.
Oh, yeah. No, I think the TV show is awesome. That's Katherine Heigl, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's definitely an interesting. What about one they didn't do such a great job with?
Oh goodness,
I
there
know.
are so many. Well, probably The Great Gatsby, right? I mean, it's a beautiful, slender, beautiful little book, and both the 1970s version, I think with Robert Redford, is a bit better, and then the Baz Luhrmann one, I think it's Baz Luhrmann, is amazing,
It is
but
Baz
it's
Luhrmann.
not the book. It's, I mean, I don't feel like anybody's really captured kind of that really beautiful, elegiac, quiet feeling that the book had.
Yeah, no, and I think that, it's hard to go with what would people accept. And sometimes you have to have more of a story to take part of the story. I don't know if that made sense, but I think it should make sense. Like, you have to have more of it to actually understand a small piece of it when you're talking about a story. What about what is one of your favorite places to travel to?
Oh, I'm not a big traveler. I mean, I have traveled a bit, but I mean, I've loved everywhere I've traveled. I was just in Maui for 2.5 weeks, so that's on my mind. And I really love Maui. You just chill. You know, when I go on bigger vacations, I take my Rick Steves guidebook and I highlight it, and then I go through it again. And I went with my partner Randall to Maui, and he's pretty chill. And we just chilled. We stayed someplace really cool with a kitchen, walked, sat on the beach, made food at home, lots of poke. And I just liked how chill it is. And just, it's so beautiful there. You can't help but feel relaxed.
Where would you like to travel that you haven't traveled yet?
I would like to go to see the Prado in Spain, the museum. My dad really loved it there, and I would like to go there and hang out for days on end and look at art.
Very cool. What about one of your favorite foods?
There are so many. Cheese, soft, gooey cheese.
Yeah. What is your favorite cheese? Do you have one?
You know, I've done like the fancy triple cream brie stuff and all, but again, I'm older, so I don't eat a ton at one time. That's not my issue. So I'm really liking these sort of, it's real cute. It's like these soft little cubes. It's called Laughing Cow, and it comes in a little pie shape, and each thing is wrapped individually in a square of foil with a nice smiling cow on it. And somehow the packaging is so adorable and comforting, and the cheese is delicious, and it's pre-portioned for you. So you feel like you've had your treat, and then you don't have, 50 pounds, $50 worth of brie in your fridge getting moldy. Because, I bought cheese. Again, I've been a single person for 8, I'm not anymore, but I have been. And it's like serving sizes are like, what the heck do I do with this? So I'm going with the lovely Laughing Cow.
I like it. I like it. What is a weird food combination that you like?
Well, there was dinner last night. We had Trader Joe's cilantro steamed like chicken shumai little dumplings with some pate and Laughing Cow and a martini.
Ooh, what kind of martini?
It was gin. It was a green gin bottle. It was probably a Trader Joe's brand. I sound like an ad, but my partner does the shopping. I'm kind of strictly Instacart. So it was just a plain martini. I'm kind of from the school that gin and a little vermouth is a martini. All these other things aren't really martinis. They're other things.
Makes sense. Makes sense. What about if you could be any mythical or fantastical creature, what would you be?
Well, I guess I'd be a phoenix, because you get a lot of chances, right? I mean, if you blow it, you can come back and you're powerful.
Yeah.
I like that.
I do like that. What about where is like a literary world that you'd like to visit?
Oh, I'm going to get the name wrong, but I read a book for book club, and it wasn't a thing I normally read. I think it was called The Cerulean Sky. And it was kind of YA, and it was set in sort of these mythical creatures are living with this man and this kind of village. And it was just really cool because the villagers all turned out to be kind, and it was probably a lovely small town kind of vibe. And I like small towns. I live in Benicia, California, which is kind of a small old-fashioned feeling town. So I think I'd like to visit the world and the characters of, I think it was Cerulean Sea. I'm getting the name wrong. I think it was Cerulean Sea, but I would go visit the town there and hang out.
Very cool. What is your favorite trope to read?
Trope, like
enemies to lovers, or that kind of thing. Like favorite, like kind of story thing to read.
Definitely your unreal rom-com, where average woman's life is transformed in super ridiculous way with man she has fake argument with 3/4 of the way through the book. I watch those too. Give me Nancy Myers. So yeah, my trope, honestly, I'll be honest, when I got through the book and I was stressed, I read very, very much Ellen Hilderbrand. So I am the Nantucket trope reader.
Well, and those can be, I'll tell you, one of my favorite genres to read when I'm stressed out or like just need something is paranormal romance, like light paranormal romance, because it's very different than sometimes some of the heavier books or biographies and stuff like that I like to read. And if things are going on, I want ridiculousness, because you need that sort of escapism, right?
Exactly. Yeah, something about those books worked for me because it was this plot and these people would come together and fall apart, and they were all ridiculously, good looking and a little bit kind of stereotypical. They weren't real quirky, and it was just kind of, it was pretty close to watching a soap opera, reading a soap opera. And, the settings were so pretty, and it was all these sort of fancy galas and things that made for some kind of fun writing. So yeah, it was just kind of, it was really good. It was really good escapism.
Very cool. Bo?
Who is your favorite author?
My favorite author is the late, great Laurie Colwin.
Who is your least favorite author?
I shouldn't give a name. That would be the schmuck I dated that I talked about in the first episode, the older Berkeley author who's very successful. So I don't like him as a person, but I'm being mean. Least favorite author you would have heard of. Oh, okay. You're gonna hate me. I would say Dan Brown, Da Vinci Code and all that stuff just reads so quick. I mean, the plot's amazing, but it's like, okay, give me something of these characters. I know people love him, and I've gotten sucked in. I mean, he's great to read like in an airport or something, but I find the reading like, this could have been so much more.
It's very plot driven, not character driven.
Exactly. And it just keeps going. And then there's this twist, and it's like the people are so clear cut. It just, yeah.
What is your desert island book? The book that you could read over and over and over again for the rest of your life with no other books?
No other books. Oh goodness, that's a hard one. Collected Works of M.S.K. Fisher. That's the one I keep coming back to.
What is your favorite writing snack? What do you eat while you write?
I write? No, I don't read. I don't eat while I write. I get like really weird and intense. So I go through tons of green tea. And also when I'm really writing, I turn into being nocturnal. My dad's nocturnal. And when I write, I keep really weird hours. One of the reasons I probably don't write much. But after writing, I really like a nice cookie and a nice cup of tea.
Nice. It's a treat for yourself when you're done with your
like a cookie. Yeah, I'm done.
Go ahead. You're on a roll. Go for it.
What is your Starbucks order or equivalent coffee shop?
Equivalent coffee shop. It is. I usually get just something like a latte with almond milk or oat milk. I'm pretty boring. Again, I'm almost 60, so I'm pretty cautious. I'm using my calories effectively, so I do not want your pumpkin mocha extra chocolate infused spice that's actually 3,000 calories. But I do love coffee, so yeah, a latte with oat milk.
Very cool.
You had a question, Erica?
No, I'm gonna be quiet now because you seem to be on a roll.
Go for it.
No, you go. You go.
Now I have performance anxiety and don't have a question ready.
Okay, that's fine. Now I can get a question ready. So is there anything that is on your absolute bucket list?
Not really. You know, having been widowed and feeling terrible, I've moved to a home that I love in a new community that I love. I have a partner of 5 years that I'm crazy about. I got my book out there. That's, for me, that's kind of enough for now.
Very, very cool. That's great to be at peace with everything. I think that's awesome.
I feel that way. I mean, I know people take trips or they do this, and I always feel like it's going to be like one of those Lethal Weapons movies. You know something's going to go wrong the night you're setting off for your, bazillion-dollar trip to your dream destination or something.
No, totally. Okay, Bo, are you over your performance anxiety yet?
Yes, I have a question. It's the question that stumps everybody. If you had to dedicate your book to a celebrity, who would it be?
Celebrities are just like us. I don't really know celebrities, so who would I dedicate it to? Oh, I know who I dedicate it to. I'm gonna mess up her name. Maybe you can. I think her name is Mary Louise Parker, and she was the star of the long-running TV series what was it called?
Oh yeah,
Weeds. Yeah, Weeds, right? Weeds. I watched all of it right when I was widowed, because she was a widow on the edge. And I would get my takeout and sit on the floor after I went through my husband's papers and did my work for the day, or just had a terrible day or whatever. I would watch Weeds and watch what she was going through. So Mary Louise Parker, because she was another kind of edgy, unhinged widow.
Yeah, no, you know what? One of my favorite roles she had was in Red.
Oh, is that the movie?
Yeah, with Bruce Willis played counterpart, and they were like all retired FBI spy people kind of things. Yeah. And it had like Morgan Freeman, and what is her name? Oh my gosh, I absolutely adore her, and her name is escaping me because of Bailey's right now. Helen Mirren is in it, and she plays a wet work specialist, which basically means she's an assassin. And Mary Louise Parker plays this girl who works at like a benefits or unemployment office. And anyway, you should watch it. It's terribly hysterical. Okay, Bo, I'm going to make you do the final question. Yeah, do you have pets, Debbie? Do you have animals? Have you ever had animals?
I had a cat when I was growing up. She died on the morning my dad had to take her in by himself because I was having an exam in law school. So I was traumatized by that. And no, I don't have any pets. After losing my husband, I joke, I haven't yet been ready to have something that's going to predecease me again.
No, that makes sense. Okay, Bo, final question, my friend. No pressure. Make it great.
You always make fun of this question, though.
That's fine. I won't make fun of it this time. I promise.
What is your advice to other writers?
Oh, goodness. Well, I teach I've taught writing. So write what you're passionate about. Write the thing that you can't leave alone. If this is the thing that's hurting, that you're like, well, this is the hard stuff, this is painful, that's what you want to write.
I like that. That's good advice. Very cool. Well, shameless self-promotion time. Talk about where you find your book and where you find your socials and stuff to sign up for your newsletter.
Well, thank you. My website is Debbie Weiss Author. It also comes up under its old name, which is The Hungover Widow. The domain name I let lapse. But I am Debbie Weiss Author. And again, The Hungover Widow is my old moniker. So you can find my website there. I am on Facebook. I have an author page, Debbie Weiss Author. I'm pretty easy to find, and I love hearing from people, widowed folk who are having a hard time. I answer people. I answer everybody. I'm on Instagram as Debbie Weiss Author, and I have cute pictures of me with my partner, Randall, who's super photogenic. I'm on TikTok. I think it's DK Weiss Writer or Debbie Weiss Writer. I'm not on TikTok a lot. And you can find my book I'm shamelessly self-promoted. Available as is. You can find it obviously on Amazon, where it has some good reviews and has had some traction. You can also, it's also available like on websites, Barnes and Noble, any standard place. My publisher has normal widespread distribution. And you can also order it if it's not on the shelves of your independent bookstore, which I love because the 2 independent bookstores where I've been living have been so kind to me in stocking my book and supporting it. So I always think that that's really important.
Very, very cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for being on the podcast with us today. It was wonderful having you.
This was really fun. Thank you. This was a blast.
Absolutely. Guys, this has been Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I have been your host, Erica Lance. My co-host is the amazing Bo Lake. Do not forget to like, subscribe, review, hit that button now. You want to follow us because we're tons of fun. And of course, leave us any comment you'd like. We'd love to hear from you. Our guest has been Debbie Weiss, and we will see you guys next time.